Jesus is obviously an ancient myth. Bill Maher and Mike Tyson talk religion. Now, let me preface this video by saying I'm not on Mike Tyson or Bill Maher's side. I have my own perspective on religion, so-called religion. I don't believe in there's any gods or anything of that nature. If you come in here looking for some profound commentary, this is probably not the place for you.
What?
I will say that if I agree with something one of them said, I'll say I agree with that, or I'll disagree with something they said, I'll say I disagree. I'm not a biblical scholar or I'm not a so-called scholar in anything. I just have my perspective, and I enjoy having discussions about deep things, especially about so-called religion. But let's just listen to the discussion between Mike Tyson and Bill Maher on Jesus, obviously.
You believe in Jesus? You believe in Prophet?
Well, I definitely don't believe in Jesus.
Okay, that's cool.
Do you-
Why not?
Why not?
I'm just curious.
I think the better question is why? Why would I? Because I'm not 10.
Bill Maher's comedy is sometimes humorous, or I've seen some of his show. I can't remember the name of it, but I know it's like the Bill Maher Show or something. He has a lot of political guests on there. But that was kind of funny. He believes just because he's not 10. Let's see how he explains that.
Because, I mean, it's obviously an ancient myth. And, you know, even the Jesus story, his biography, is completely unoriginal. You know, all the gods that came before him had like the same birthday.
And the same story, though, as well.
Yeah, he has a point there, like Osiris and Horus. You know, there's a lot of stories before the story of Jesus that have the same kind of narrative. You know, there's also such like flood stories. There's many flood stories before the flood story in the Bible. So I agree with him there.
Wow. Same story. The same, yes, disciples, like 12 people. Many of them were crucified.
The Samaritans
on
had
some
the same Jesus.
Yeah, they took the stories that were
Samaria,
going around the Mediterranean.
Ancient Kemet, it's a lot of places
they grafted
I believe
it
they
onto the life of Jesus. I mean, the
grab
reason why his
stories
birthday
from the
is
Bible.
December 25th is because that was
the shortest day of the year. You were telling me something.
Yes, right. Because that was the day that the sun started to, when days started to get longer again, so that the people in the pagan times celebrated that day because it meant that we're going to live again, because the days kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter in the winter.
That's a new one. I hadn't heard that the Jesus story came about, or the December 25th thing came about from the days getting shorter. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's interesting that he says something like that. I've heard many different reasons of why December 25th is his day, but I don't have any like concrete memories of anything. But that's interesting that he brought that up. I will take a look at that, and if there's something, I will post as I'm talking.
So there's nothing.
This is what I want to know. Why is Jesus so embedded in so many people's brains, even people that are Buddhists and all that?
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, there's some very interesting scholarship done on this. There were lots of religions at the time. Of course, there are many that preceded Christianity. Absolutely. The reason why that one caught on is because they grafted these familiar elements onto it, like his birthday and stuff like that, and he's coming back to life. That was an old story. But part of it that was revolutionary was his message that when it really gets good for you is in the afterlife. Now, we're talking about a Roman Empire.
Now, here's the thing. Like I said, in ancient Kemet, they had an afterlife as well. I think Christianity is so embedded in people's minds because the people who colonized the world believed in this so-called belief of a Jesus. All has to do, to me, stems from racism, white supremacy. We have to pinpoint slavery as the most influential time in history. It built the world that we see today. And the people who controlled, owned, slaughtered people believed in a Christianity. This is just my perspective, that is the reason why it is embedded into us today. Like during slavery, those people, again, were stripped from their land, kidnapped, ripped from their culture. And then the only thing they taught to read was the Bible. Now, I mean, if the Bible, and here's the thing, I believe in Africa, their religion, they didn't do this on a Sunday. They believe this. They believe they deified, earth, the sun, the wind. They deified these things, and they deified the word. So I just believe it's embedded in people to believe in something. I don't know why people believe in these things. I think a friend of mine said, they believe in this stuff to make them feel better. And I guess that's a good answer, isn't it?
It was at least half slaves,
It's not more.
I mean, people think slavery was an American invention. It was not.
No.
Everybody in the Bible had them. The word slave comes from Slav, and there's nobody whiter in the world than Slavs. Slavery has been around since the beginning of time, and mostly it wasn't even a racial thing, simply because people weren't living in an area where there were people of other races. It's just human nature, brutal human nature, to make other people your slave if you possibly can. Now, we have come a long way since that time, but in the Bible, nobody even thought to condemn it. There's lots of rules about slavery in the Bible.
That's true. Exodus 21. You read Exodus 21, it gives you rules on slaves. You know what I'm saying? The God of that Bible does not condone slavery. Now, there were slavery in, 3000 BC, but that slavery was different than the chattel slavery of the 1600s. Now, that slavery was based on race. The slavery in ancient times, from what I understand, was, prisoners of war, because slaves at that time could become kings. Eventually they could work their way to become kings.
They never even thought to say that. Like, don't do it. God's perfectly okay with it. His boy Jesus is perfectly okay with it. They have rules like, if a man kills your slave, you may kill his slave. Oh, okay. That's
and you can keep his
nobody
wife
ever said,
and all this
maybe
kind
we
of
shouldn't
stuff.
do this.
If,
Maybe we should
if a
put that.
slave takes a wife,
Maybe we
he
should
can
put
keep
that
his
in the
wife.
Ten Commandments.
He can go free.
Bible, so
Yeah, he can go free, but he gets to keep his wife and the child. It's interesting. Here's my thing. People read certain excerpts of the Bible and not all of it. You have to take this book as a whole, right? If God slaughtered the first Egyptian borns, children, you have to accept that. Not just saying God is omnibenevolent, because obviously if he's killing children, I wouldn't think that's omnibenevolent. I don't think that's all loving.
you didn't dig it, what you was reading?
Well, as a historical document, it's interesting, and it's certainly fundamental to understanding our civilization. So I took it as scholarship when I was in college. But do I believe it? Of course not. It was written by people in the Bronze Age who didn't know what a germ or an atom was. It's a bunch of nonsense, and it's wicked also. It's full of ethnic cleansing, slavery. Again, just the fact that slavery is not condemned. They have a list of 10 things you absolutely should not do, but slavery and rape are not on the list.
This is
How ridiculous
the Bible
is
you're
that?
talking about?
The Bible, yes, the Bible.
It's actually quite ironic because the Bible, I think, is like the most sold book.
But isn't there so many? I don't know. I don't want to say nothing about
The most like
Bible.
bought book anywhere.
Well, yes, it's the Bible. I mean, most people, less and less as time goes on, thanks partly to me, are less and less religious. But I mean, it's still mostly a religious country. Mostly people will say they believe in something. Now, shout out to my millennial friends. They're the first generation to be less than 50%, I think, who have a religious affiliation. The younger generations, more and more, are saying this is a bunch of bull.
Here's another question I have. Why do we always label everything? Like, we label generations, Generation Z, Generation X. Why do people have this inclination of labeling people? It's like we can't go without labeling each other something, right? We have to label each other. Why do we do that? We're all people on one planet together.
We don't need this to live a good life. And then they see how like immoral so many religious people are. So they're like, why would I want to get involved in this club? It's hypocritical, it's not real, and it doesn't speak to me.
I used to believe religion is your conscience. You know what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what's wrong,
that's
what's right.
that's your conscience. That's not religion.
Yeah.
Religion is something different. I mean, if
How
that
do you
could be
define
your
religion?
well, religion is a system. Religion is a formalized way of thinking with rules and laws and beliefs in things that
And
are.
then again, we all have our own private religion. Then,
But that's
our
not really
personal
religion.
It's
That's
faith.
something
What-
better
we
than
have- no,
religion.
no, we don't have.
Now let me say my definition of religion is religion is what you do. It's just a belief and backed by action. So religion is what you do every day. Now, I think people separate religion as from something else that they don't do. Religion is what you do every day. You have a belief in something, you act on that belief every day. And I wish we would realize that. Just my perspective.
I'm just talking about the way we get up every morning, we wash our face, we brush our teeth, we
Well,
put a pen, and we live out. Yeah, that's
that's
like
not a religion. That's a regimen. Yes, we all
religion
have.
is regimental.
I'm with.
It
I
is.
agree with
Well,
Mike.
yeah,
I agree with
religion
Mike
is
on this one.
regimental. Yeah,
But-
I agree with
no
Mike
doubt.
on this.
Okay.
Whatever
we're
you do
arguing
is
over
religion.
Semantics here, but
No, I'm not arguing with you.
no. I'm just saying. I think what defines something as a religion is something that you're not describing. You're describing what you believe and how you live your life. You
That's-
don't need religion.
Well,
Although,
religion tells you how to live your life and what to believe
but aren't
in.
you Muslim?
Yes.
Okay, well that is a religion.
Yeah, it's very difficult religion too. But listen, that don't mean you can't be a Muslim and live your religion and still think that somebody should be treated like a human being and not just be dictated by religion.
You see
I would
how
just say you're lucky that
everybody
you're a Muslim
has
in America,
different
because if you were a Muslim
definitions
in
for
most
religion.
Hey, you know,
majority-
but listen, man, you keep saying that. You know how many Muslims in these countries think like us, and just can't get over the oppression.
Right, exactly.
Right. So don't say if I went over. No, everybody would understand me
No, but I'm
more
saying
than I understand
you
myself.
couldn't live, and definitely your daughters and your wife couldn't live the way they do in America. if they-
Exactly.
okay, good.
That's why they.
Glad
That's
we
why.
agree on that.
That's why it was meant for them to live here.
Yes, right.
My kids, I believe that kids, our brain evolved. My kids are a lot smarter than me. I was a special ed kid. My kids are Ivy Leagues and stuff. So I think people evolve. They don't have to have a sport where they have to get hurt or something to feed their family.
Well, humans definitely evolve as individuals. Hopefully we evolve as we get older. I mean, we get smarter, we have more experiences, we become more mature. Definitely men are very immature when we're young. You know, I mean, women.
We never stop being boys. That's what I learned. I'm 56. We never stop being boys. We may dress different.
I can't speak for everybody.
We may dress different, but we never stop having that mentality of.
You know, I like Mike's mentality. I kind of agree with some of the things he's saying here.
Freedom.
Good stuff, man. Mike Tyson. That was a good conversation, a cordial conversation. Sometimes you have conversations about religion and it gets so combative and argumentative. But that was a good conversation. They do have a different perspective on what religion is. Like I said, I think religion is what you do every day. I think we should stop separate. Like we separate science, we separate politics, we separate religion, and it's just weird to me. Like, how do you separate all that? All of those are things that you do basically every day. Hey guys, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section. Thank you guys as always. Until next time, peace.